Now let's look at introducing the sine rule. If I have a non-right angled triangle, and I labelled that triangle A, B, C, and side A, side B, side C. So the capital letters are the angles, the lowercase letters are the sides. Then I need a rule where I can relate the size of the angle and the length of the side. And this is called the sine rule. And the sine rule says that A on sine A is equal to B on sine B, which is also equal to C on sine C. Now for the sine rule to work, you can use any combination of these three parts that you want. So you can have A on sine A is equal to C on sine C. You don't need to have all three. Now this can also be written sometimes up the other way. People sometimes invert it the other way. So they have sine B on B is equal to sine C on C. And this will work also because they are looking at the ratio between the side length and the sine of the angle for each case. Now, the important thing to note here is if you think about the sine function for a moment. So the sine function is a function that goes through 180 there, 360 there, and 0. And we have a midpoint here of 90 degrees and a midpoint there of 270 degrees. And a standard size sine function goes from 1 to -1. Now with this, if we just were to focus our situation between 0 and 180 degrees, because there's only ever 180 degrees in a triangle, you could see there are two times when here and here we get the same value on the y-axis, the same value for two different angles. And we actually have that the sine of theta is also equal to the sine of 180 take theta. That there is a relationship that exists there. This means that sine 30 is equal to the sine of 180 take 30, which is sine 150. And if we looked at our graph here, say this was sine of 30 there, that has a particular value, that has the same value for 150 here. And this is important to note because this brings up what we like to call the ambiguous case, okay, that there can be multiple answers sometimes for our triangles. The second rule we need to look at is the cosine rule. So again, thinking of our triangle up there, up here, and the relationship that exists, the cosine rule says that a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared. Take 2bc the cos of the angle A. And this can also be written sometimes in terms of the cos of the angle A. And we like to say it as the cos of the angle A is equal to b squared plus c squared take a squared all over 2bc. And that is the cosine rule, but where you can use it to find the angle that exists.